Hey, didn't see you there. Howdy y'all, I'm Q, and today we're going to be going over this absolute classic Randall RG80. Let's get to it.
If you made it this far, welcome to the Q Show. Gonna learn a thing, it's probably in the title.
Alright, so you may be wondering why I'm behind this amplifier, and it's because I need a new lens, but also because this amp is very special. Let's talk about it a little. This amp has been used literally, this exact model, by Phil Collen of Def Leppard, the Edge of U2, and this amp and other very similar models were used constantly by Dimebag Darrell of Pantera. So it's got quite a resume behind it for what it is, specifically this era, this exact version of the amp. Now, the ones that came after were very similar, but I was fortunate enough to land on this broken. And you will see, with any luck, some videos. We'll talk about what happened. Basically, one of the, I think it was the cathode bias resistor. I think it was the cathode resistor. They just fell off the amp. I found them inside the amplifier, and when I tested them, I realized that one of them had gone off spec. So I'm guessing whoever owned it thought it'd be cute to just chop them both off, because haha, same on both sides of the power amp now. That did not work. It sounded terrible. Constant breakup, and we fixed it. So did the thing. Cool. Now we've got this gorgeous classic amplifier, and I noticed that no one had really done a deep dive on this specific model in some time, so I figured why not take this opportunity to talk about how cool it is. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, let's get into the sounds. All right, so before we get into the actual sound demos, well, firstly, my head's leaving. Everyone say bye to my head. Bye. All right, cool. Let's talk about this amp a little bit. First things first, we got our two channels, gain and master, followed by a jointly applied EQ of treble, mids, bass, presence, and reverb. These two channels are interesting in that the gain and master terms are actually pretty specific and deliberate in their terminology, so let's dig into why that is. The gain knob on this is right after the first transistor, so it's boosting right after that, just like in your original Fender designs. It's worth noting that the founder of Randall was actually the guy who designed a lot of the early Fender amp designs. So it doesn't really surprise me that there are a lot of things going on inside this that remind me of the old Fenders in a very positive way. The master is at the end of the preamp channel, just like the master channels implemented in later amplifiers, as opposed to the very early non-master volume amplifiers. EQ's EQ, presence, I believe it's actually operating in the same way that it did in the whatever. Presence just has, I would describe presence as the absolute top of your top end. I believe it interacts in a power amp circuit. You'll see some text appear to further elaborate on what the presence knob is doing in this amplifier, because I do not remember. And the reverb is reverb. On this amp, you actually have a reverb tank that is the size of the cabinet. So you got these really long springs and it sounds really good. Total super surf vibes. Let's hear it real quick. Clean. All right, so that's the clean tone. You can hear that relaxed attack. Guitarists like calling that spongy. It's if you give it that little A lot of people, for some reason, associate that with tube amps, but as you can see, that is totally possible in transistor land. It's just about how you design it. Spongy. All right, moving on to the distorted part of the amp. Something cute about this is a lot of amps have channels, but the channels are like manipulating a part of the preamp. This actually has two running in parallel, so it gives you opportunities for blending tones. And as you can see here, the second channel actually has the capacity to get incredibly saturated because you can boost it like this, right? So we're getting pretty... But there's something this amp does that has a little secret, completely unlabeled. You pull the treble knob out, you lose a little volume, which is easily recovered. So it gets super saturated, but the ability to blend these two together means you can do something, you can kind of get creative. Actually, you know what? No. I have a whole other video talking about how to do that. You go watch that video. But you can blend these two in a really interesting way, especially if you're running like another drive into it. You can get the clean and the grit and kind of get layers to your saturation. It's super cool. Again, the video is right there. Check it out. And there we have it. Boom! Oof. Nice. What did you think? Do I look ridiculous behind this amp like this? I think so. If you want to help, you can totally go to these links here. See a Patreon, you know, you can help out, help me get that new lens so I can review amps in a more comfortable way. I would certainly love to. But do you think it's cool? Are you a big tube person? Did this kind of shake you a little bit? I've had a couple other transistor amps that embodied this sort of relaxed attack, but the first time I heard it, I was pretty blown away. I had been brainwashed to think that only tubes could have that sound. So it's cool that this guy does it, and a lot of others do too. And as always, thank you for watching. I'm Q, and this was The Q Show.